So, Gina Carano versus Disney. This is a thing. Gina Carano, as a bit of a background for you, Bo, because I don't know whether you did any of the, you had a chance to take a look at this, but Gina Carano, of course, is suing Disney with the weight of Elon Musk behind her and his legal fund. Disney did a motion to dismiss the lawsuit on a First Amendment basis, which was weird. And it's been denied. So it's going to get spicy moving forwards. Kathleen Kennedy's dirty little secrets will be exposed if it moves to discovery. So just real quick, it's not a huge sort of piece to dive into. Basically, court documents obtained by That Park Place. U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett has denied the request by the Walt Disney Company to dismiss Gina Carano's lawsuit with Gina Carano and her lawyers against the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm's attempts to dismiss her case. As a bit of a background, real quick, according to Judge Garnett, Disney, Lucasfilm, and Huckleberry have failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. The court denies defendants' motion. Carano filed her lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company back in February, with the suit detailing it as, quote, a civil action arising from defendants' wrongful termination of Carano's employment in retaliation for Carano's lawful exercise of her right to speak and express her views. And then the suit alleges that defendants terminated Carano's employment, took out retaliatory actions to limit and deny her future employment opportunities. So we heard all of that. And essentially the defense, real quick, from Disney, again, for those that need to bring it up to speed. So the lawsuit specifically accused Walt Disney Company of wrongful discharge, and refusal to hire, and sex discrimination. And then we had Walt Disney filed a motion to dismiss in April, arguing, quote, Disney makes this motion on the grounds that Disney has a constitutional right not to associate its artistic expression with Carano's speech, such that the First Amendment provides a complete defense to Carano's claim. So basically, company has First Amendment rights and can just fire anyone it wants, because if they said anything that they just disagree with, they can just fire them now, which is a weird defense, but okay. Mm-hmm. Carano's claims are all barred by the First Amendment, as the Supreme Court held in, and then obviously lists a whole bunch of stuff. And they say that the First Amendment embodies a core principle of speaker's autonomy that bars the state from dictating to expressive enterprises what to say, how to say it, and whom to say it through. So it's been denied. It's a pretty major thing for it to be denied. Now, there's two things here that I want to say before I get everyone's thoughts on this. Is Gina Carano kind of alluded potentially to being open to a settlement from Disney when she was asked about this by Valiant Renegade. I would say, please God, don't do that, because it defeats the entire object of doing this entirely. A company like Disney is not going to learn any lesson remotely by getting a payout. They don't care. They could not give a shit about that. They will only learn a lesson by being utterly, unequivocally just ground into oblivion with embarrassment. Everything needs to be laid bare, right? A company like this, with all the wealth, all the strings being pulled, they need to be embarrassed. They need to be obliterated from an embarrassment perspective. They need everything laid out, right? Everything needs to be laid out. So I hope that this does go to Discovery, because that's where this will actually happen. And it will be a lot of juicy stuff that will come out from Discovery. So there you go. Pretty major news. Kathleen Kennedy's dirty little secrets could be coming out there. Let's go to you first, Michelle. What do you reckon about all of this stuff? I mean,
well, one, I was not shocked that Disney got dismissed, because under the law in California, it literally is stated that they cannot fire someone because of their political beliefs, which is basically what Disney argued, that their First Amendment right to get rid of her because she didn't align with their beliefs. But again, in the state of California years ago, they made that into law because they were trying to protect communists, that they couldn't be fired, not foreseeing that one day it would be the case for someone who voted Republican. So I'm not shocked by that. And then also, I actually was the one recording Valiant at that. I do not think she's going to settle. And I mean, I think if she were to settle, they had guaranteed her job back. They guaranteed an apology, a public statement, and they're not going to do that. So I don't really see settling.
Okay. Well, yeah, because the transcript itself, saying I'm going to take it day by day. I'm going to see how it goes, etc., etc. It wasn't like unequivocal, like, oh yeah, I might do, but it just left it open rather than no, firm no, like absolutely no, I'm not going to settle. Like
and that's where I say if they would, I mean, publicly welcome her back into the fold, maybe she would settle under that. I don't know. That we'd have to ask her on that one, but it's things that I just don't foresee Disney doing.
No, God, no. I mean, they need to be. They have to be obliterated. They have to be absolutely embarrassed. They have to run tail between legs, just cowards. That's the way that they'll learn their lesson. These kind of people do these things so brazenly, and they do them brazenly because of years and years of getting away with it, time and time again. And they just got so big for their boots. They have to be brought down a peg. But well, interesting. Bo, let's get your opinion on this, dude.
Well, the first thing I was going to ask is, where is it being tried? Is it in California?
California,
Is it definitely in California? Okay.
Yeah, I think is that right, guys? It is California, isn't it? Pretty certain.
I believe it's California. Yes.
Okay.
Wait, two things with that. One, it is California, but two, it's federal jurisdiction.
Yes. Okay.
So and because those two things are important. Number one, because California has this specific law that they put in place to protect the communists from the blacklist in case that ever happened again. And second, because it's between two states, there's two different conflicting jurisdictions. It got elevated to federal level. So
I just want to throw this out here. It's gone below 90.
Well, it actually, funnily enough, it had done it earlier in the day, and then they got some kind of a news that helped it spike, and all of the 401k and Roth IRA money got dumped in, and then it promptly fell back down. So there you are.
And then Coulter would probably know the answer to this. Coulter, when they fired Gina, wasn't it like over $150 a share?
Well, it was quite high. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the time that Chapek had driven the stock price up with all of the things that they were promising to do. And so they had a lot of things on the upswing, as you pointed out, not just obviously Endgame, but they also had Star Wars headed the right direction. And she was a big part of that, right, Michelle?
Oh, repeat that. Sorry, someone just sent me a message.
It's okay. She was a big part of that, correct? Elevating Star Wars, about the time that Endgame and Star Wars and all of that was happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Bo, got.
The thing for me about settlement, if Elon is personally bankrolling her, then I suspect she doesn't need to. Well, she won't need to worry about lawyers' fees. But yeah, I really, really, really hope, it's stating the obvious, I suppose, but really, really hope she doesn't settle for exactly the reasons you said. No, it's bigger than the issue at stake is bigger than her bank account. Much, much bigger. A statement needs to be made. I've always had a problem with people that bring big, important cases and then settle when it's something that really matters. For example, a few of the families that claimed Michael Jackson had done untoward things with their children ended up settling. What is that? What is that? It's what a thing to do, to sell out when that was what it was. There was like the woman that said she was a Jeffrey Epstein victim and that Prince Andrew had done some things and it was the worst thing in the world and she was going to take down the monarchy and it's just it's not fair, and then she settled. Then she settled for a load of money. I mean, what is that? Come on. And anyway, I just hope Gina is bigger than that. And I hope she sees it all the way through to the end. And I hope Disney get their comeuppance.
Well, and as someone just pointed out in the chat, she does come from a pretty wealthy family. Like Gina's not struggling financially.
Right.
And I know she said at that event, at that Q&A, that she, I guess, has started her own production company and is kind of focused on doing her own thing. So I think
Good.
all those things point to her not settling very quickly at all.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I mean, I'd say on going back to settling and things like that, and other people that have settled, when someone brings a really big case, which fundamentally has a pretty big moral implication, right? This has a moral implication as well, and all the other things you mentioned have, they're morally implicated. It's a case of, well, why are you bringing that case at that point then? If you're going to settle,
Yes.
is it just a financial thing then? Because if that's the case, where are your morals at that level as well? If you can be bought, your morals, I mean, you're basically saying your morals are up for sale.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at someone like P. Diddy, it's Sean Combs. It now becomes clear that he's just bought his way out of lots and lots and lots of sex crime.
Yeah,
that simply is what's happened. That lots and lots of people, loads of people over the years, have brought cases against him for various degrees of sexual assault, and it's just settled. So in other words, if you've got enough money, you can just pay off all your victims, assuming they're not prepared, assuming their body and their morals are up for sale. And so, if you're rich enough, you can literally get away with crime, really, really bad crime. And it's terrible.
Well, and
it's terrible.
I can say too, and I know Nick was there, when I went up and got to meet Gina and started speaking with her, one of the first things out of her mouth was, I don't have anything to hide. They have everything to hide. And I mean, the way she was speaking definitely indicated she wants discovery. Like, she wants exposure on what these people have done.
Someone else who wants that? Elon Musk.
Yes.
Elon Musk is not paying for this and other cases like it to go through, so that the people that he is helping out can get a quiet payment without anything else happening. Gina wants discovery. She wants to take them down.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk wants to take them down 10 times as much. So this isn't about just for her to get the paycheck and then things carry on before. No. Elon Musk wants to take them down. That's what this is ultimately about. He has made that abundantly clear in past interviews over the last few days. He wants to end the whole woke mind virus and everyone who is furthering it. Disney is one of the leading cultural institutions that's furthering it. For that reason, I mean, that's why he's in this. Again, he's not doing this as a charity to people who have been unfairly cancelled while the perpetrators carry on. No. He wants to expose them publicly. He wants discovery. There's zero chance that this ends in a payout and a settlement. This is going to go all the way. That's why they're doing this.
I really hope so. I hope that Disney ends up a bit like, in the public memory, a bit like Michael Jackson. It's like, it's a pure disgrace. It's still okay to sort of listen to Man in the Mirror. It's still okay to watch Fantasia, but the thing's dead now, and we don't really talk about it much anymore, because it's a sort of a terrible, dark embarrassment. I hope that's what happens to Disney. I really do.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope that there's a distinction there. That this is what happened under Bob Iger. Because you can accuse of course, there was horrible capitalism and stuff like that going on even under the reign of Walt and the original Roy Disney. But this is a completely different league. It is soiling the Disney name, but the person who's doing it is Bob Iger and his hires. And his hires, they hate Walt Disney and everything they stand for. For this end, I just hope that there can be a distinction, because like all the stuff that I say about Disney, all the stuff that we expose, it's not to make Disney go away. No, it's in the hopes that the Iger administration and the shareholders supporting him, or the other way around, that can be exposed. That someone like Elon Musk at some point can do a forced hostile takeover or something, like he did with Twitter, and bring back the legacy of the company and root out the commies from it. Get rid of Iger from the company and all of his influence, because that's the rot. It's Iger. It's not Disney. Disney is a company that has been hijacked, and culture will be lesser for it if Disney goes away. What has to go away is the rot that has infected the company, the commies that have infiltrated it. So I would rather see Disney restored, but in order for that to happen, the commies that have taken it over needs to be exposed. And that is why I so desperately want to see Discovery here, and I want to see big headlines, which is unlikely to happen, but I certainly want everyone to know exactly what's going on so that the Iger administration takes it on the chin, and that it gets so bad that people there will have to resign. Because that's the only way that this gets better.
Culture, are you here? I know you said you had you sort of disappear and come back. I think maybe
he hasn't said that he's back, so I think he's not here.
No. All right. Well, we will move on from the. Oh, did you get your thoughts, Nick? No, we didn't get your thoughts. Right, Nick, over to you, mate. Sorry.
So yeah, round one for Gina. There's still a long ways to go in this whole thing. These court trial things are very slow. There's no such thing as a speedy trial in the American justice system, even though they're supposed to be. But yeah, like Michelle said, I did get to meet Gina and got her to sign one of the Cara Dune action figures. I'm glad that this thing's going to Discovery. Like Andre said, this is just as much something for Elon as it is for her. He absolutely despises and hates Bob Iger. And the thing is, the culture over there, the interview we had with the ex-Disney employee who was very high up in the chain on the corporate side. And even when we had our interview with Tim Rose, who played Admiral Akbar and was on the set of The Last Jedi when they killed Akbar by blowing him out of a window. Both of them said, when we were interviewing Tim Rose, he basically said, there's a lot of stuff I want to say, but if I say it, they will come and literally come take my house. And then the ex-Disney employee, same thing. He went and talked to a lawyer, and they basically said, this is a huge corporation. They will bankrupt you in legal fees. And it's just not worth people, taking that risk of losing everything to try to fight them. So the fact that Elon has stepped up and is doing this, I think is awesome. We actually, tweeted him our interview with the ex-Disney employee, hoping that he might see it and maybe pay for his legal fees as well, because he was basically told by HR that he was not being fired because of his performance or anything he did wrong. It was because he was a white male. They couldn't put that in writing, but that's what the head of one of the HR admins literally told him. The only person in his entire department that stayed was a gay, I think it was a gay black dude or a gay Asian guy or something. Is the only one that stayed.
Well, and I think it's worth noting, and obviously we won't get into this one as much because it goes more political, but Disney had not one but two blows this week legally, because you had the Gina Carano lawsuit that they got denied on, and then also in Florida they got denied in dismissing Trump's defamation case against ABC, the sister, which is a Disney-owned company. So they had both of those happened in the same week.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah, no, I didn't see that one actually, to be fair, but that's astute observation. Well, there you go. This will be fascinating to watch, genuinely. We will keep you up to date on all of this as it comes out, as we sort of find out a little bit more stuff about Discovery. I can't wait for it. Genuinely cannot wait for it. And that stock keeps tanking, which is comical as hell. Absolutely comical as hell.